What's good? It's your boy Don Philo, creative Don Philo, the first collaborative brand, a brand that solely exists through collaborations. We do not produce our own content, it's always somebody else. Today, we got a special new collaboration with my boy Jordan of Betine Productions. of Betine Productions, alright? So, we're starting off this new show for you all. It's going to be movie and TV reviews, you know. We kind of felt like the people in our demographic don't really have anybody to turn to when they see a new movie is coming out. They want to know if they should watch it, looking for a new show, they want to know if they should watch it. So we're bringing this platform to, you know, give y'all good reviews on movies and TV shows that are out right now, so y'all can check them out. But, you know, unfortunately right now we do not have a name for the show.
That's not decided one yet.
We're going to start just going off by the Untitled reviews. So, you know what I'm saying? I know y'all see the graphic popping up.
Right.
It's a placeholder.
Something there.
So when we do get the name, it's going to be right here.
But if you do have an idea for a name, you know, drop it in the comments below. You know, and if you like it, we might stick with it.
Yeah, speaking of the comments, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? We come with good content, consistent content. So make sure y'all hit that subscribe button so y'all can keep up with everything we're doing. So you can probably see by the title, first movie we are doing is The Five Bloods.
The Five Bloods, right? So The Five Bloods is a 2020 American film, Vietnam War film directed by Spike Lee, who also produced it. It stars Delroy Lindo, Jonathan Majors, Isaiah Whitlock Jr., and Norm Lewis. The cinematographer is Newton Siegel. So it's a great movie, you know, one of Spike Lee's latest, coming after Black Klansman, which won him a few Oscars and everything. So it's a lot of big expectations for this movie.
Yeah, so the film's plot follows a group of aging Vietnam War veterans who return to the country in search of the remains of their fallen squad leader, as well as the treasure they buried while serving there.
Crazy.
So that's a crazy plot line.
There's a lot going on in there.
A lot going on in that plot line. So I say the movie kind of starts off. You see the. Well, should we get a synopsis? Yeah. So
yeah, spoilers.
Right now, the spoilers are about
right
to begin. You know what I'm saying? You could skip to the end. We'll put a little tab where we just give our review and there's no spoilers. But no spoilers. So you know the movie starts off. The group of friends are meeting back up in Vietnam after such and such years. They're probably like in their 60s, 70s right now. And you know, they're kind of just like catching up, talking about different war stories. And it's called The Five Bloods.
Wait, you gotta say who The Five Bloods are.
Right. So, The Five Bloods are Delroy Lindo, who's probably, you know what I'm saying, he's the star of the show.
Person.
Yeah, he's the main character in the movie. Jonathan Majors, Clark Peters, and Norm Lewis.
Yeah, and then the fifth one is actually Chadwick Boseman, but he died back in the original Vietnam War. So the four remaining ones are going back to Vietnam to go pay their respects.
Yeah, they're gonna pay their respects. They're trying to find his body too if they can, like if they know where he died. So they're gonna try to look for his skeleton.
But more importantly, they're going for the gold.
Yeah. So while they were back in Vietnam, you know, they were searching for different gold from the different people to, you know, get back to the U.S. And one time they found a bunch of it, and it was like, look, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna set ourselves up, we're gonna bury this gold out here. After the war is over, they're gonna come back. So I guess they finally were able to come back.
And Chadwick Boseman's character is only seen through 16mm film, you know, like old Vietnam War tape. Mm-hmm. So it's a really cool effect. I like that Spike Lee did that, and that was something that actually came out of creativity in me because they didn't have the right budget for it. And he had to beg for that 16mm film, which I know it's a little detour, but isn't it crazy how Spike Lee had to beg for this? But then The Irishman came out last year and he got everything he wanted. He got $200 million budget.
Well, you know, that's just how it is. Yeah, it's like African American films are already don't get the budget that they need to make these films as good as they do. So when you see that Spike made such a high quality film with the budget that he worked with, just makes the film even better.
And the creativity. And I think Irishman was a great movie. Scorsese's obviously the GOAT, great of all time. But what Spike Lee was able to do with the adversity of the small budget, crazy. You don't agree?
Agree with what?
About Scorsese?
Nah, he cool, man.
He's definitely the greatest of all time.
I don't know if he touching those Nolan brothers, you know what I'm saying? But,
Alright.
you know, I'm team Nolan brothers over here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Besides
Jonathan and Christian.
no. But, you know, that's a different topic for a different time.
Different day.
So, you know, so they plan this trip to go back and find this gold and try to find the remains. And so they get this one tour guide to kind of show them around, but they really know where they're going for the most part. And then a whole another storyline that gets roped into it. Delroy Lindo's son in the movie tags along on the trip because he knows, like, you know, his dad's gonna go get this money. He's basically trying to get on the money.
His estranged son too.
They really have a good relationship, so he's like, I'm tapping in, trying to get with the money, and basically finesses his way onto the trip.
Yeah.
But it does bring up a good dynamic of, you know, young and old, how the two generations are different, how they handle things different.
And his son is actually Jonathan Majors, and he was also in Last Black Man in San Francisco, another great movie that came out like a year or two ago. Check that out if you haven't seen it. But let's dive into some of the plot points and like the things that you like. I think the first thing we have to talk about is the non-use of CGI for the 16mm films.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I liked it in this scenario because it made sense. Like, you know, it kind of showed how people who go to war and, you know what I'm saying, are dealing with like PTSD and things like that.
They're still trapped.
Their mindset is still there. So it's like, it shows that even the age that they look now, like they're still stuck in that mindset. And just to touch on, you know, how real PTSD is, and I feel like this movie did a really good job at showing that, and showing that how, you know, black men probably are still dealing with those emotions and traumas of what went on in those wars, and not just Vietnam War, but all the wars that's happened since then. You know, everybody is dealing with a lot of post-traumatic stress, and I feel like this movie did a great job at shining a light on that.
Yeah, exactly.
In a time where, you know what I'm saying, people don't really like to talk about it.
One thing I love about the movie is that Spike, you know, makes it a history lesson. He drops certain statistics and information about famous black people, you know, that go unnoticed, like the Vietnam War veterans. He even says in the movie that I think 33% of all Vietnam War vets were black, you know, but you never hear about that in the news. You know, people never talk about that. In fact, when people talk about the military, you just think of a certain white man. You know what I mean? Like we have so many black vets that came back to America.
Look at Captain America.
Right, exactly. They came back to America, and then what happened to them?
Team Iron Man, by the way.
Definitely Team Cap. That's another episode. That would be a great episode.
Rest easy, my boy.
Definitely Team Cap.
Rest
That's
easy.
another story. But yeah. So they went to the wars like every vet did. You know, you have all these great movies like Apocalypse Now, Platoon. They talk about, you know, the white Vietnam War experience, but this is the first time you've seen it from black eyes and black perspective. So you have to give it to Spike for that because it's a story that goes unnoticed.
For sure.
One thing that I didn't like about the movie though was I felt that some of the relationships were a little rushed. Like when the son came into the story, he kind of just appeared, you know, and it's just like where did he come from? You know, I felt like there wasn't that much explaining on that, and then also his relationship with the French girl, like I felt like they were like in love with each other, but they just met each other.
I don't think they were all that close. You know, I think it was just, you know, in the moment type situation in a different country, and just wanted to, you know what I'm saying, to flame for a different country, and so.
He ready to risk it all.
I don't think he was gonna do all of that. I think he was just, you know, caught up in the flame. But I do see how it was rushed. I just feel like it was so much that they had to get into the movie, and so much they had to fit in that it was like they're gonna have to cut some corners. So I wasn't really mad at it.
It's also interesting that they're French because I watched the extended version of Apocalypse Now, and they have a whole scene where he like, you know, they're going through the river and they meet a French family, and they talk about like how the family hates the war because they feel so established in another person's land, like they've been in France for so long. So it's cool seeing like the French perspective, and like I think Vietnam was captured by was colonized by the French. I think at a certain point, so there's a lot of French influences in these movies that really goes unnoticed.
There's one thing I really wanted to talk about. So there's one scene in the movie where the soldiers, the Five Bloods, this is a flashback to when they were really in Vietnam, where they find out that Martin Luther King gets killed in America. And I think that was like one of the most powerful scenes in the movie. So it's like the whole scene is them sitting outside, I think they were like cleaning their guns or something, and then they hear the radio, and it's like a Vietnamese woman speaking in English over the radio, and she's talking directly to the African American soldiers, and she's like, y'all are out here fighting a meaningless war that, nothing good is gonna come out of it. And y'all fighting for a country that doesn't even accept you all back home. Like, they just killed one of y'all leaders, and I'm saying,
what are y'all doing here?
Why are y'all fighting us? Y'all need to be going back home and fighting for y'all people back home. And that's something that has always resonated with me. Like, I'll always give respect to, anybody who fights in the service, and I know everybody has their own individual reasons, but personally, I don't know how much I could, especially back in that time, we really weren't given any rights or still fighting for
so much on all fronts, bro.
Yeah, I don't know if I could if I could fight for this country at that time, where my people are being oppressed.
At the same time, right?
And so that you saw that emotion in those soldiers. They're like, well, let's go find us some white boys from the other cabin, and we finna go kill us some white boys. You know what I'm saying? And it just shows that pain that they were going through, and just the fact that African Americans were fighting for America on the front lines and doing all of this and being promised they would have this, and this when they come back home, and it just wasn't the reality. They were still dealing with segregation and oppression as they were fighting for this country, and it just shows how things are not different now. With everything. Right. And I think that's what a lot of people were saying. Like, this movie was so timely, and
exactly. It came out of nowhere, but it was like a surprise release on Netflix. I think.
Yeah.
It wasn't that much advertising, but it came at a perfect time in this country.
With everything going on with social injustice, and just the time we're living in, this movie is just so timely to show that this is not something new. This is not something that just started, or something that had died down. It shows that we were fighting for these things.
Right.
And that really 50s and we're
50s,
still fighting
60s,
for it now.
right, exactly. And if anything, that shows the really captivating performance that Delroy puts on, because it's amazing. Like, the pain in his voice, the personal trauma that he has, especially in going back, where he, caused the, he was the reason why his troop leader died by, he accidentally killed.
Super spoiler, but.
Yeah, he accidentally killed Chadwick Boseman. And that's, so he deals with that pain too. So that brings a whole nother layer to it, the trauma that black men face.
Yeah, so like his character deals with like a lot of, he feels like he's pretty much
demons.
Yeah, he's fighting demons. He's seeing demons in his sleep. He's kind of the wild card of the group that's kind of, as you see, like the group is kind of staying together and keeping things under control. And as his emotions begin to, come out more, he begins to not be able to control his emotions. We see that, the plot takes a twist, and what seemed like a simple trip turns into something that goes completely left.
Right,
and
exactly.
People started dying and everything. So.
And then you see how originally they had planned to give the money back to the communities, when they first agreed back when everything was going on. But, life had kind of soured them, especially Delroy's character, he wanted to just take the money for himself,
Yeah.
Like, he didn't care. And it's become that kind of, in certain ways, it's become that kind of lifestyle where people wanted to give back to their communities, now everybody's thinking for themselves. Because you just want to get out.
Yeah, and, that's just that is a real mindset of people.
Yeah.
It's like, he was talking about, so even how Delroy's character was pro-Trump.
Right, exactly.
That was the whole
wow,
side.
he was.
His character was pro-Trump.
He had the Trump hat the whole time.
And he was seen at the Trump rallies and everything, and his whole thing was like, You know, we're killing our own people in the hood, and I'm thinking for myself. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make it better for myself, and I think, you know, the situations in our neighborhoods will never get better if all the good examples just leave. You know, once they reach a certain level of success or sustainability, they leave our communities and provide no role models. You know, not putting money back into the businesses, and you know, the situations will never change if, you know, as soon as we get a little money, we leave our community.
And that's really poetic, because at the end of the movie, they eventually give all the money back to the community, or most of the money, you know, to their own individual charities and stuff. Mm-hmm. But what did you think about the MAGA hat, right? That I think it, you know, originally Delroy has it. Then it's like one of the Vietnamese soldiers, I think, and then the Frenchman at the end, like, where's the hat? Mm-hmm. You know, do you think there was like some sort of meaning behind that, like why it like got passed around, especially to the Frenchman at the end? He kind of looked like Trump, you know, like some.
I think it's just going to show how American politics is almost getting turned into a joke.
Right.
And like, you know what I'm saying, nobody takes it seriously anymore, and how things are just gone so left. Like, I think that's where what they're just trying to say, like, everybody's making fun of America for this hat, you know what I'm saying? So that was kind of a whole crazy.
It starts off at the beginning of the movie nice and clean and everything. By the end, it's all raggedy, and like you can't even see the letters. I think Spike definitely like intended for something like a little mini story in that. So overall, what did you think about the movie?
Overall, I liked it. You know, it was a good story. Definitely a good plot line. Oh, then there's the whole plot line of the dude who had, you know what I'm saying, his little Vietnamese thing.
Oh, yeah.
Back in Vietnam, back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Messed around, got her pregnant, kind of whole daughter, and didn't know till she was like grown.
But it blew me though, because he sees Shorty come up, right? Or like him and his old thing are talking, then his daughter comes up, doesn't really even acknowledge him, and then goes out and leaves, and he's like, "Is that my daughter?" Like, who else's daughter would it be, bro? You're in Vietnam,
yeah,
like.
Who else is this hat?
Like, come on.
Black hat Vietnam.
It's conveniently about the same age, the Vietnam.
That's messed up to me, like.
And she didn't say nothing either. I'm like, don't you think?
Never known you had a whole kid.
Yeah.
For all them years, like, you never knew. That's just messed up to me, but overall, I did like the movie. I feel like Spike did a good job. I like the cinematography of it. I like the message. Acting wise, you know what I'm saying? Delroy Lindo.
Give him an Oscar.
He has to get an Oscar, bro. Like,
you
know what I'm saying? We've seen a lot of snubs.
Yeah.
You know, especially, you know what I'm saying? A movie I think we should review, Beast of No Nation. Idris Elba getting snubbed for that movie was crazy. So I seen movies similar like this when people get snubbed, but it's been a pretty slow year for movies. So
I think he's definitely gonna get the nom. I'd be surprised.
At least a nomination, but he deserves an award. Like his ending monologue, where it's just really him and himself
going through the jungle. That was beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? It's a long monologue, and where he ends up dying, but it's
rambling
crazy.
and just going on like
about everything, man.
The jungle's like consumed.
It's definitely like a classic performance.
Yeah.
One for the ages for sure. So
even the memes, have you seen the little video where he's dancing through the club?
Yeah.
I guess that's just hilarious.
So between that, I think, you know what I'm saying, Spike Lee needs a nom, the movie needs a nom. So, you know, I'm looking for the noms.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
We don't get no noms, you know, I'm gonna have something to say about it.
And it hasn't been that many movies that come out this year, so I'd be surprised, you know. And award season just started, so. But for me personally, I think the movie was good. I think it was really good. The plot like went a little left sometimes, but I think the movie overall was very good. The message behind it, what you learn from it, and like especially in this climate, it's the best thing one of the best things that could have happened in cinema in 2020. You know. I feel like if he had a bigger budget, he could have been able to do things like he wanted to. But he did. Spike is an amazing director. Did what he could with the smaller budget and making, you know, more creative choices, more artistic choices.
What's your favorite Spike movie?
Malcolm X. Yeah. Malcolm X for sure. Like that performance. Like I know that I know that Al Pacino needed his Oscar. You know, he been snubbed like 3 times, but Denzel deserved that Oscar for Malcolm X. Bro, that performance was ridiculous. That performance was crazy.
I think, you know, it's a lot of good ones. Spike got a lot of good ones, man. It's hard not to choose from. Unpopular opinion. Kings of Comedy Tour. You know, I know that doesn't really count as a real movie, but I just really like the King of Comedy Tour.
Oh, Black Klansman was good too. That was
Black Klansman is very good.
Definitely up there.
That's elite. Black Klansman
It came
very
went straight to top 3 for him, in my opinion. Like,
Black Klansman is very elite. Spike, I'll never forgive you for the shot right from Chicago. Right. You know what I'm saying? Even Mr. Black Panther didn't appreciate Chirac either. You know what I'm saying?
Fred Hampton.
And Fred Hampton, he didn't appreciate Chirac. But yeah, that was just the worst.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate that at all. Spike, you know what I'm saying? But I forgive you. I'm saying we moved on from it. Crooklyn is a classic.
Crooklyn is definitely
a classic.
But I'll say that one thing I love about Spike is he's not afraid to like push boundaries with his movies, you know? Like in an age where I feel like a lot of like the movies we've seen, at least that sell in terms of black cinema, like they're all kind of the same.
Yeah.
Like every movie that Spike has done for his whole career has been something very different. You know, like School Days had the musicals,
School Days.
You know, like you know, like the perfect day, perfect worst day ever, you know, and Do the Right Thing, like
and then, you know,
She's Gotta Have It, like he's always, you know, gone crazy with the stories.
You know, I'm not the world's biggest I'm gonna come out and say I don't like Ray Allen at all. You know what I'm saying? He Got Game.
Shuttleworth
is a classic, you know, that movie has
Jesus
lived on for years, for generations. That movie's gonna stay around for generations.
Bro, when he threw the basketball from jail, that shit was so funny.
No, here's a newer one. See You Yesterday. I don't know if people have seen that on Netflix. See You Yesterday is like a black sci-fi movie about these 2 teenagers that are into sci-fi and build a time machine, and she like builds a time machine and goes back one day, and like each time she goes back, she messes the timeline up, and somebody keeps getting killed, and she keeps trying to go back to save somebody else, and somebody else gets killed. It's crazy because it just like yeah, it's on Netflix. It came out maybe last year. You know, it's supposed to be kind of tied in with the Back to the Future series. You know what I'm saying? We see some of the repeated actors, so it's a very, very good movie. Spike being Spike, finding interesting ways to tell a good message. But I think that's one of the, you know what I'm saying, the best things.
Spike Lee's a legend.
Yeah, Spike Lee's definitely a legend. For sure.
So, alright, so final ratings. Watch it or don't watch it? Watch or not?
100% watch it. You know, if I'm giving this out of 5, I'm gonna go like 4.5 out of 5. We
gotta find our rating system.
We're still working on our rating system, unfinished rating system right now.
People do 5 stars, 3 stars.
You know what I'm saying? So is it 5 or whatever you need it to be?
Right.
I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of whatever you need it to be. You know what I'm saying? But it was a very good movie. You know, it lived up to the expectations. Spike Lee's getting on a good run right now. I'm saying not really doing no misses from this and coming off of Black Klansman.
And it's crazy.
And See You Yesterday, like Spike's on a good run.
It's crazy seeing how all these directors, you know, are still making like the best movies decades later, you know? Like they made their classics when they were younger, and like Scorsese's still making movies, you know? Spike is still making movies.
Yeah, drop your favorite Spike Lee movie in the comment right now. You want to see what your favorite Spike Lee movie is. We're going to leave a poll up here so y'all can rate if y'all like the movie, didn't like it, it was alright, you know what I'm saying? Let us know. We want to see what y'all thought as well. This is the first episode of what right now is the Untitled Reviews. First episode,
still working on the name.
We're going to come with a lot more. We're going to take y'all suggestions, suggest a movie we should watch and review.
Topics we should review.
TV show, you know what I'm saying?
Superheroes.
We're going to come with our top 5s, everything. Yeah. We're gonna do it on this show.
I can talk movies for days, bro.
Yeah. We'll do it all on this channel, man. So everybody stay locked in to the Untitled reviews right now. Again, send us some ideas because we want to get this name fast. Like,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Keep going with this. So send in some names, some name suggestions. And you know what I'm saying, keep rocking out with us. It's your boy Don Philo. Don Philo, the first collaborative brand.
It's your boy Jordan, Jordan Betine Productions, and Jordan Betine on Instagram. Yep, and have a good day.
Alright, we out.
Peace.
Alright, a Vietnamese girl, she called me a nigga. A Vietnamese girl, I know it's not part of their language. Can't nobody tell me that's part of their language, but I'm gonna go over here. The beast, you know that. See, we go over here, we fight. Okay, we fight to defend the water we drink, the land we grow our food on, and our way of culture. We also fight to protect Rockefeller's foundations. We fight to protect J.P. Kennedy's foundation, all these different kind of foundations that the black man can't partake of, you understand? And then we go back, we're continuously harassed. It's not necessary. This ain't what we heard, this is what we know. See, we've seen it from the bird's eye point of view. We are the people here now, see? We see it now. This ain't what we heard, you know.